Do you think you have seen everything in Blood and Wine? You haven't. Here are 5 Toussaint quests that most players miss, and every single one is worth playing. This next quest is extremely missable. You can find Le Papillon standing outside a barber shop asking for help. I already liked him from his earlier appearance during the Shieldmar introduction. His commentary alone convinced me to help him. The task is simple.
My coiffeur, Jean-Louis Lotovic, has gone missing. Now, you shall rescue him while I compose an epic ballad about it.
At first, it seems like the man may have left on his own,
To my mind, he just went out to find ingredients for his pomade.
but Le Papillon insists something terrible must have happened.
City to gather flower petals for it. Trolls must have devoured him.
So naturally, we agree to search for him. Everything about this quest is funny. Le Papillon decides to turn the search into a song with Geralt as the lead character.
Into the unknown, the poor barber to find.
Gotta do that the whole way.
Watching Geralt sprint through Toussaint while a bard sings about him is already ridiculous, and the quest just keeps leaning into it. Eventually, the trail leads us to a cave where we find the missing barber being held captive by a group of knights. We do what witches do best, beat them up and free the man. Le Papillon finally finishes his song, but at the very last moment, he suddenly shifts the focus to Anna Henrietta instead of Geralt.
They hobbled apace on his stump arms like crutches, all for the glory of her grace.
As the song ends, the barber immediately throws up, and that moment genuinely sent me into a fit of laughter. Later, we find out that Le Papillon doesn't have any money to pay us. The barber ends up covering the reward himself, but honestly, even without the coin, this quest delivers enough laughter to last the entire day. Now, the story of the painter quest, which you can stumble upon in the Toussaint marketplace.
Portrait?
Indeed, yours, en face, actual size, with the finest vista Toussaint affords behind you.
I was intrigued by his proposition, and that curiosity is exactly what pulled me into this quest. Once you agree to meet him at the designated spot, the journey begins. On the road, the two of them exchange some genuinely weird but amusing conversation. And then the painter casually drops the line, he owns a cat that can paint.
Hang on. Got a cat that paints?
Yeah, if you care to call it that.
A painting cat? That was my exact reaction. What makes it even better that Geralt actually laughs during this exchange, something we rarely see in the entire game.
Question.
Come on, give it some thought.
Along the way, the painter stops to fetch his equipment, only to discover that his supplies have been stolen. Naturally, we agree to help. Following the trail of spoiled paints lead us to a cave infested with knackers. But not just any knackers. These ones are artistic. They are literally painting on the cave walls with the stolen supplies. First, a painting cat, now artistic knackers. At this point, I was fully committed to whatever madness this quest had planned. After regrouping, we finally reach the perfect location. The painter asks Geralt to strike a pose and begins his masterpiece, casually mentioning that he will add a griffin in the background later. Naturally, a real griffin immediately shows up, and of course, we have to deal with it. After all that chaos, he asks us to return to the market later to collect the finished painting. And when you do, it's complete, but not exactly how you would expect. Geralt is partially naked in the portrait. The painter then asks for money. I was entirely convinced, but I bought it anyway and proudly hung it on my lovely Corvo Bianco estate. The real twist, that exact same painting later appears on the walls of a brothel in the Toussaint. How did it get there? And what was I doing there? Obviously, research. Next up is a contract where Geralt takes on what initially feels like a simple escort job for Lord Belladel.
Where are we going? What am I supposed to do exactly?
In the roundest terms, we shall admire the local flora and fauna. And while we do, I might preserve a thing or two.
Preserve?
Of this device, see? A peristysomac. It captures likenesses.
A Paris as to what?
It's like a movable megascope, capturing moments, transforming them into illusions, based upon which I then paint a painting.
We learn that Lord Billidal's daughter, Clarissa, is ill, and he takes these pictures so that she can see the monsters of Toussaint without leaving her home. The first stop is to photograph a leopard, which we conveniently find caught into a trap. I freed it, and Lord Billidal captures the moment. Of course, since this is an escort mission, I also have to constantly make sure he doesn't get himself killed. Next, he wants a picture of giant centipede. That means I have to act as a bait, lure the monsters out, fight it, and hold its attention so he can get a single perfect photo of it. But the final request? That was unexpected.
They say you can exert influence over lesser creatures.
Yeah, guess I can try. Can't promise you anything, though.
Splendid. Consider me contented.
He asks me to use my Witcher senses to find a flock of peacocks. Then he wants the peacocks to spread their wings for a photograph because Clarissa loves those birds. A quick axie does the trick until another giant centipede shows up and we deal with it swiftly. Once everything is done, Lord Billidal invites us to his mansion for an exhibition of the photographs. And when you visit, you realize something important. He's genuinely talented. Talking to him about Clarissa is a genuinely warm moment, and as a final gesture, he gives Geralt a photograph of himself. I proudly hung that picture in my bedroom, not because it looks cool, but because of the story behind it. This next one is a contract where we meet a woodcutter named Jacob, who's clearly shaken. He tells Geralt about a tree he tried to cut down, a tree that bled. According to him, it's possessed. When Geralt investigates, it becomes clear that something is indeed wrong. Jacob gives us a book, and through the book, we learn about Gareth and Daphne and a tragic love story tied to this very tree. To uncover the truth, we are sent to a witch living in the mountains. She knows what happened to Gareth, but only if you make the right choice in your conversation with her. If you choose wisely, she'll tell you about the fate of Gareth, and she never wanted to curse Daphne in the first place. She instructs Geralt to perform a ritual, lighting 4 candles at 4 corners of the area and speaking Daphne's name. The ritual works, the spirit is freed, and the story ends with a sense of quiet release. But if you make the wrong decision, everything ends differently. The witch dies at your hand, Jacob dies, and the spirit is destroyed. What I love about the quest is how restrained it is. There's no spectacle, no grand boss fight, just a story about love, patience, and catharsis. And sometimes that's exactly what makes a quest unforgettable. This one is a part of the main quest, but whether you ever experience it depends entirely on the choice you make. Regis tells Geralt that he needs a component for his dream potion taken from a wight and gives us a location where one might be found. He also mentions something unusual.
Or perhaps this spotted white is a hoarder, or the spoons are somehow related to the curse.
When we reach the place and investigate, we confirm that a wight does live here and that it has a strong obsession with spoons. Digging deeper, we learn the truth. This creature was once human, cursed for reasons that slowly began to reveal themselves. The wight doesn't just kill, it tries to force-feed its victims. We wait in hiding for the wight to appear, and when it does, the game presents us with a choice: kill it or attempt to lift the curse. If you kill it, the story ends there. But if you choose compassion, something very different happens. Geralt sits down for a dinner with the wight willingly, eats without using spoons, and forces the creature to look at itself in the mirror. The curse breaks and the wight flees. Following it leads us to an old frail woman begging for food. Geralt doesn't hesitate. He picks her up and carries her back to Corvo Bianco, offering her food and shelter. Later, when she recovers, she tells us the full story, how she once mocked a poor beggar and refused him food, only to be cursed for her cruelty. What I love most about this quest is what comes next. Geralt doesn't just save her, he gives her a place in his home. She becomes the cook at Corvo Bianco. Moments like this prove something important. Beneath the swords and monsters, Geralt has a genuinely good heart, and that's exactly why this quest earns a place here. If you enjoyed this video, let me know which Toussaint quest stayed with you. And if you haven't played some of these yet, trust me, they are worth your time. Until next time, take care and enjoy the path.